Hey folks, I hope you're doing well. I'm sitting working on the tester house, the first terrain piece that I'm trying here on the channel, and I've done a little bit of work since the last video, so I thought I'd show you before I move on too far. I started by adding some of these struts to the roof. They're just coffee stir sticks. If you want to find out how I put the rest of this together, go check out the earlier videos in the series. But just added some roof slats. I cut little notches into the styrene sheet at the end here. Added these coffee stir sticks just to give some skeleton, I guess, to the roof. The plan is to use just some, thin card, like pressboard or whatever, and put this on the roof to create the general shape. And then I'm going to put shingles over the whole of this, like I've done in the little porch section. Just the shingle sort of roofs. I've been sitting watching more of the Kamloopian's videos. I've watched pretty much all of his videos now. I used to watch them all the time, way back in the day when I started doing all this sort of stuff, when I gave it a go the first time around. He was like a huge inspiration. His videos are really hard to follow. They're very kind of scrambled. They were made like 8 years ago plus sort of thing, so it was the early days of YouTube, certainly the early days of making miniature stuff on YouTube. But his videos are still really kind of good for picking up hints and tips. They're good to have in the background if you're working on stuff. Chuck those on, and you can pick up some interesting bits and pieces. And this was one of the techniques I picked up from him, is doing shingled roofs. You just cut loads of tiny bits of card and then kind of overlap them, and you get this really nice little shingled effect. He had this huge it was like a bound book hole punch thing, the kind of books that you see with the plastic spiral spine, that cut out all these perfect little shingle sized bits of card. So you had this punch and he would just punch out loads of these little slats. Unfortunately I don't have one of them. I did consider using a pair of these. This is a pair of scissors that have like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 blades on them. So they were kind of an okay size, but the problem with these is that they really curl card. Unfortunately, they're alright for paper, but card, they really curl, so you end up with all these like kind of curly bits of cards. I think these are like shredding scissors for shredding documents or for making ribbon or whatever. So I thought I'd kind of get away with using these as a little shortcut, but unfortunately it's not working out. So I'm going to have to cut them all by hand. I'll probably just use a paper cutter, so like one of the bar ones that you can slide it along and it cuts a strip. So I'll get loads of strips, but then I'll have to go in and slice off all these little individual shingles. But it's kind of part of the process, so it's it takes a little while to do, but it ends up looking really effective once you've painted this and dry brushed it up. So that's what my plan is for the whole roof here, on both sides obviously. Around this side I'll have to consider how this roof here is going to intersect with this one. So the plan is, I think, I'll build this up first, and then I'll kind of build this roof going into it to see where it's going to join up and how it's going to join up. It's a lot of guesswork at the minute, but we shall see as we go along. On the other side of the roof I'm probably going to do a couple little windows or something, but this is going to be really bare and just like a huge kind of panel of shingles. So to add a bit more detail to this side of the house, I thought I'd do a couple little windows jutting out. But again, that's going to involve a lot of like angles and working it out as I go along. Apologies again for the setup, by the way. I'm not set up at all lighting wise or camera wise for recording this, but I just wanted to get the video done before I move on to the next stage of this. So this is the chimney stack side. I was really confused as to how to go about doing this. I knew I wanted a chimney stack on this side with a chimney coming out the top here. But I just kind of did more of the brickwork down here. I'm cutting out all these little bricks out of the sheet styrene individually, and then sticking them all on, and then like grouting them, I guess. You could just kind of engrave the brickwork into the styrene, but I think this gives a much more like random sort of shape, and it is actually little bricks all built up, so they're going to be uneven, and it gives it a little bit more character than if you were to just score lines into styrene. And I think overall it would probably take about the same amount of time, I guess. So the brickwork is now kind of going all the way around the bottom here, and then also the slat work, again this is just coffee stir sticks. I've done those all the way around the sides, this side too. And the chimney stack, I've just kind of done the brickwork of the main part of it, and then the top here I've just done slightly different because I wanted it to go around the side here, and obviously the bricks kind of overlap each other on the corner, so I just kind of cut smaller bricks in there at the top here just to make that work. And I think once that's dry brushed, it'll give a pretty cool you know, like rickety sort of brickwork effect on there. And then I've just surrounded the bottom of the chimney stack here with kind of wooden beams. Again, these will be painted up to look like wood to continue the wood going around in other parts of the house. And I think it just, you know, it's almost like it's there to support the chimney stack. And then this big kind of cross beam that I've done on the front there, again just with coffee stir sticks. And the top of the chimney is going to be, I'll continue this brickwork up, but I can't do any more of that now until I've put the roof on and figured out how it's going to intersect with that. But I'll continue the brickwork up, and then I'll put some kind of chimney cap on the top, just a slightly wider section maybe, up top there, just to cap off the chimney. This, I can't remember if I showed this, the little window around this side, and this little kind of, this is going to be a wee like wood storage area, because the idea is I'll have the porch round. This fits in like that. It's pretty hard to see as I'm holding it like this, but there you go, that fits in like that. So there's something going on this side. This is obviously jutting out this side. There's the chimney stack around the back, and this side was pretty bare, but I'm going to put this on a bigger kind of platform. And the idea would be to have maybe a tree and a little shed at the back here, and then, you know, like a little wood cutting area or something, and then just logs kind of stacked up under this little shelter at the side. It was just a way to break up the flatness, I guess, of this side of this wall. You know, I knew I was doing the window anyway, but I just thought I'd do that to give it another dimension out the way. Speaking of dimensions out of the way, looking at this, I'm not happy with the way I've done these corner posts, or these corner supports. They're too small, I think, because everything, although there's a lot of detail and a lot of texture going on in this house, it's all kind of on one level. I mean, the only other level I'm going to have apart from the porch and the bits jutting out is going to be these kind of end caps for the roof, which are going to add a lot of detail up here, you know, kind of put on the side there. But other than that, the face of the house, if you like, is fairly flat. And I kind of wish I thought of this right at the start, but you know, you kind of do these things and then learn as you're going along, I guess. So I've started stripping those back out. There was two in these corners that I've taken out. They were glued in there fairly well, so I've just kind of like cut them out with a knife and kind of sanded down. I'll sand them down a wee bit more in the corners just to get a decent right angle in there again. And I'm going to put chunkier posts on the outside. As I say, this corner, for example, that's, you know, how it looks at the moment. But I think that's too flush with the rest of the wall, so I would like these to be a bit chunkier on the corners, just to give a bit more, you know, like it's solid, big supports on the corners here, and it should, by doing that, just give it a little bit more, you know, of a dimension. So there's the posts on the corners, and then it sinks in to the walls. I don't know how successful that's going to be, but I'll just, as with all this stuff, I'm just kind of guessing as I go, seeing what works. But yeah, I did show this in the last one. This the kind of work that I've done along the top here, the little beads and the cocktail sticks and stuff, is going to be painted up to look like metal work, really kind of weathered up metal work. So I'm going to try and continue that on the top of the house here as well. So the idea would be that there's the porch, and then these end caps jutting out like that, and then along the top of the roof there'll be this like banded metal work, maybe a little weather vane or something like that, I don't know. But we'll see. I'm, as I say, playing with it. and figuring out what's working and what's not. But yeah, again, go check out Camlupian. His channel's called The Camlupian. I'll actually put a link to it down in the description, because he's a huge reason that I'm, you know, getting back into doing this stuff, or why I even took an interest in it in the first place. And I wish he still made videos. But I don't know what he's doing with himself nowadays. But yeah, so go check out the Camlupian. There'll be a link to his channel down in the description. As I said before, his videos are very kind of random. There's a lot of rambling and mumbling and stuff in them, but that's kind of part of the joy, I guess, of it. He's quite an eccentric guy, but also a recluse, and he's very kind of quiet too. So it makes for an interesting video to watch. And as I say, the knowledge that I've picked up and the little tips and tricks I've picked up along the way, just by having his videos on in the background, you know, he'll be doing something in the video and I'll be like, oh, I've never thought of using that before, or you know, never thought of doing something in that way. So he's got a lot of really good tips and tricks, and if you're just starting out, go and check it out. Chuck his videos on in the background. And I hope he comes back someday. It would be really good to see him making videos again. But you know, until then we can only carry on and do our own thing, I guess. So you know, his advice is still living on in the work I'm doing, I guess. So that's kind of a cool thing. So there we go, that's Tester House for now. I'm going to do a little more work on this tonight and kind of see where it goes. But this is one of the I've got so many projects on the go just now, so I just keep coming back to these things every now and again when I'm in the mood to do it. And then, as I say, I was watching some of Camlupian's videos and got in the mood to do some terrain, so I started work on this again. But I don't think I'm too far off the general structure. After that, it'll just be a base for this thing, and then painting it up and stuff. I'll need to try and figure out a color scheme that works for it, for the look I'm wanting to go for, but we shall see. But yeah, cheers for all the views and the, you know, for new folk that have subscribed. I think I'm over 200 subscribers now, which is awesome. You know, not a huge number in the grand scheme of things, but I didn't know 200 folk would even watch these videos when I started putting them up, so it's really cool to see the channel grow slightly. Feel free to leave comments and stuff. I'd love to interact with you know, those that are watching the videos. But yeah, until the next one I make, cheers for watching, and I will catch you all later. Goodbye.